Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namine, Ora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastayate.
Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namine, Ora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastayate.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Narayana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Narayana,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Narayana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Narayana,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Narayana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Narayana.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Narayana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Narayana.
What is Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
What is Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Krishna,
Madana Mohana. Jaya Jaya Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gaura Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prasthaya
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gaura Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prasthaya.
So I'll read here one of the Siksastaka or the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. It is in a prayer narrative or a prayer expressing his heart, his mind, his whole being. It is about the process of the yoga sound. The yoga sound, union with the Supreme Person in loving devotion. The Maha Mantra, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra that draws the mind away from matter. So when one is fortunate enough to come in contact with God Himself, the representative of God, then one's life becomes very simple. Because now, me, you, we can make this conscious decision just to follow and listen and do only what God, what Lord Krishna, the Supreme Person, wants us to do. We will not be now shackled and directed by the mind, by the senses, following the desire in the mind. Our meditation, our focus will not be upon our own effort, but we put ourselves under the guidance, the shelter of God. And that is achieved when one is fortunate enough to come in contact with a bona fide spiritual master. So the bona fide spiritual master saves us, protects us, because his will, his focus is about the will of God. And if in our study program, what is the desire or the will of the Supreme Person? That we engage in His loving service. We engage in His loving service to serve and love Him. That is His desire. And that will be our protection. To become free from false ego. What is false ego? It is the reason we are here suffering. Because we think we are self-sufficient, we are all-powerful, we don't need no one. And it is shown through the fruit that we are here trying to play surrogate God, trying to dominate material nature. But in reality, we are all entangled, lost, and covered by the powerful force of material nature. Laws, the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance is all connected with our trying to play God, trying to do our will. We make a decision to do our will all alone, to fulfill what we want for our own sake. Now it's extended. One is in disease condition of false bodily identification, and extended, this false ego is extended now with trying to play surrogate God, surrogate father, surrogate self-sufficient father, mother, trying to find happiness in this material world. And our understanding is so much in haze and covered because we're not able to see our true transcendental nature. We identify with the body, we identify or we think we own our offspring, our son, our daughter, our friend, our wife. And our focus now is upon this world. It's all about us. So this false ego must be purified, cut off to the root. And it is done and achieved when we have a bona fide spiritual master. Because at the time we approach the bona fide spiritual master and he gives us instruction, then our life becomes very simple. All what we have to do is make a choice to be filial, to be truthful, to be loyal, to be trustworthy, to be caring, to be loyal, to make a stand, and appreciate His care through His instruction. Because that care, that instruction, will be our connection with doing the will of God. It's the connection of our true longing to serve, to love, to be satisfied, to find happiness. This knot must be cut. This anchor must be cut. The shackles must be cut. And through the instruction of the confidential loving servant of God, the spiritual master, who is non-different from the Supreme Person, inseparable, will be our protection, our refuge, because we will become purified through His instruction, not by our own power, but through God's mercy, the Supreme Purifier. So what it entails, sincerity and desire in our heart. And when one becomes purified through the process, he will be in harmony with the instruction of Lord Krishna. And what is that instruction? Lord Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita, just surrender unto me and I'll protect you. To those who are constantly devoted unto me, I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. And not only that, he tells us, abandon all varieties of religion. What is your religion? Materialism. Everything that is connected with our dominion, false dominion, will be cut off when we understand our true transcendental nature and live the life that is transcendental, our true natural position and activities as eternally the loving servant of God. Meaning, our focus now, when we follow the instruction of the spiritual master, will not be the desire in the mind, will not be other people who are conditioned in this world, who are also themselves blind and are struggling. And we will not be we will be focused when we follow the instruction of the spiritual master, because by nature, the living entity, us, we are active by nature. And when he gives us a process that will connect us with God, it is connected with love, devotion. So he gives us a process so we can practice, we can engage in practice to cultivate loving devotion. Prior to coming or meeting our Gurudev, our focus is about ourselves, just ourselves. I, me, mine. It's all about me. My happiness, my sadness. It's all about my extended false ego, as if I will be eternally with them. I can protect them. And we cling with one another, trying to portray, trying to play Lord. But because we're not self-sufficient, the person whom we're in this illusion thinking, my son, my daughter, my husband, and we play surrogate God. I will satisfy you, I will serve you, I will love you, And it's a world of illusion because it's based upon false bodily identification, extended false ego, dominion. So meaning our love, our heart, our whole being is directed upon this material world. It's all about us. It must be cut off to the root, this false ego. So we can understand our true transcendental nature, our true transcendental position. It's a hard work, but we will succeed through the guidance and mercy of God, because that is His will, that is His desire. All what we have to do is make this decision to follow the instruction of God. How? We're given this instruction. So the path that we are now treading, the goal we want to achieve, will be achieved. Even now, this time, real time, this space, while we are in this body, because we will be given the process, the science. Science means a scientific process that will achieve a result. And the result is about the will of God. That's all. For so long, we've been engaging in just trying to fulfill our will, but in reality, we are servants of all of us. We're in this illusion. Servant of the mind. Servant of the senses. And we are so anchored in this world. That's the reason we're suffering. You can go around this world, travel from one place to another in this universe, until and unless we are not under the protection of God. following His instruction. Our refuge is His instruction, His love. Our refuge is the instruction of His representative, the spiritual master. So Saint Prabhupada advised Maharaj Nimi, the king, don't ever think that this material world is very nice. It's a place of suffering. To be born in this body, to be in this body, to experience old age, disease, and to leave this body. But if we have this understanding of our true transcendental nature, then we will put our focus now in just doing the will of the spiritual master. Because that is the will of God, His desire. So I'll read here the teachings of Lord Chaitanya so we can have this clear understanding without a doubt about the process. O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction upon the living beings. And therefore you have hundreds and millions of names like Krsna, Govinda, etc. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies, and there is no hard and fast rule for chanting these holy names. O my Lord, you have so kindly made approach to you easy by your holy names. But unfortunate as I am, I have no attraction for them. So Lord Chaitanya, in his prayer, he puts himself as an ordinary person. He has no attraction. But how do we carry on? It is through the holy names. So the first realization, when one becomes purified from this material contamination, this material disease, he understands his true transcendental nature. The teachings, the narrative about the difference between life and matter, the soul and matter, the living entities in this machine, me, we can experience, realize, yes, I am the driver of this body. So, the effect of chanting the holy names is that when we are gearing or focusing upon this path in this transcendental experience, the impact of suffering, our attachment, our love upon this material energy will be lessen and lessen and lessen. For example, let's talk about impact. But you're driving a car and you're driving, passionately, with the libido, the speed, the thrills kills. So you meet an accident, driving 1 hour without speed limit, and boom! Somebody hits you, and you experience the pain. If you can you're still surviving in your body, not really, your body is not yet destroyed. You go out and said, "Why did you hit me? Why did you hit me? Why did you bump me?" Understand? Because you identify yourself as a car. And the more you are thinking you're the car, when you get bumped by the force of material nature, the modes of material nature, the experience of birth, death, this is a knowledge. Because you identify with the source of suffering, you think, me, then the impact, boom! You identify with the body and you experience the heavy impact. How? By your attachment to this world, to this body. You put your love upon someone, and that someone leaves. You're so attached to your wife, but not seeing your wife as the person. You're attached to your child, but you're not really appreciating that he's a person in that body. But because you're our mind, we're thinking we are the body, and the mind, you are not seeing, we just see the forms. And when, for example, what impact will you experience when you love your child and that your child's body now is being destroyed by COVID-19, or he or she has this cancer destroying her body? You feel sad, you feel this experience. Oh, she's suffering. You're not understanding that the body is being destroyed by the cancer cell, and the person there, he experienced naturally the experience of pain. Just like when you are driving a car, you're in this body, you get bumped, the impact, But when you know you're not the body, and you have understood, really, realize the first teaching of Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, then through the process of this purificatory process, in this age of Kali Yuga, quarrel and confusion, where everybody is confused, where to go, what direction, where they will go, how they will make right decision. This gets clarity when we are under the shelter of God. When we follow the instruction of our spiritual master. We become one-pointedly in that focus. So the impact now is not based upon what we have falsely identified ourselves. We are not the body, we are not the mind, and our intelligence now becomes purified. And our focus now is about our true transcendental, eternal position and function as eternally the loving servant of God. A different dimension, transcendental to this temporary body. So, it is not that when you have this understanding, you don't have compassion or care for others, you're gonna step on them, just kick them out, or, you feel sadness. You experience, you feel compassion upon your brothers, your sister, that you're able to make a stand, to use this body, to pass on the great transcendental benefit that you have experienced, the happiness, you want to share it. So our spiritual master comes, Krishna comes to canvas, not to impose, but to canvas. Show us the truth through the transcendental teachings they're teaching. We don't see God or the spiritual master, understand him, just seeing, but through the sound, and that sound is the eternal transcendental science of our true transcendental nature, Satchit Ananda. When we are in that situation, we understand our true transcendental nature, then we are with wisdom from hearing from our spiritual master about the nature of this world. And we are hearing also the transcendental activities of the Supreme Person in the spiritual world through the narrative that has been passed on to us by our instructing spiritual master coming from Lord Krishna himself. Their happiness, their pleasure is about caring for us. They want us to be in harmony in doing the will of God, because that is our eternal world, not this world. This false ego thinking, I am all alone, all powerful, self-sufficient, I know everything. So when one comes in contact with a bona fide spiritual master, at the time, one's life becomes very simple. Because you will be just one-pointedly treading the path, doing the will of God by following instruction. Not anymore the desire in the mind. And when you engage in such activities that will purify all this misgiving, cut off the false ego, we begin to experience now this humbleness. And when one experiences this, he always prays and takes shelter of God. So I'll read here the fourth prayer of the Shishastaka, the consciousness of someone who will be guided by the will of God, by the refuge, by the shelter, by the love, through coming in contact with the representative of God. One can chant the holy names of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking himself lower than the straw in the street, more tolerant than the tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy names of the Lord constantly. So what is the goal of chanting the holy names? It is reestablishing again our long lost relationship with loving the Supreme Person. That is the whole purpose. And when one chants the holy names, he becomes purified from all this misgiving. He sees that yes, what I'm longing, happiness and joy that is inseparable from me, from life, activities, I am active by nature. So now I can focus my activities, my action in a process that is pleasing to God. And I'm not alone. I take shelter of God's will, God's love, through the instruction of His representative. So when Lord Chaitanya, who is non-different from Lord Krsna, came here, the perfect teacher, God Himself, He approached a spiritual master. He approached Isbarapuri, coming from the long line and broken chain of spiritual master, up to Lord Krsna. The Brahma Sampradaya descending process we do and follow is unbroken. It's all about God's love, God's care, a world of devotional service. Because devotion is about love, activities in pleasing and doing the will of God. So, through their examples, Lord Chaitanya approached Ishvarapuri. He's a great Pandit. He's well known. He's very popular. So, in humbleness, he approached his spiritual master. And spiritual master guided him and told him, instructed him to chant the holy names, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And he said, because you're less intelligent, just chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He followed it to give as an example his life, his will to please the spiritual master. So he achieved perfection, although it's a role he plays. The Supreme Person is self-sufficient. But every action he does, or he engaged in relationship with us, his pastimes is all about his pleasure. And that pleasure is about loving devotion. So our spiritual master opens that door to us, guides us in that world. And it's about humbleness. When we feel in our that yes, I'm in the dead end. I'm in the end of my tether. No way I can make it. And then we can fall down and ask help from God. And how do we do it? By chanting the holy names, the Maha Mantra. So, through our study program, we can recall that all those who follow this process succeeded. Meaning all of us can succeed, provided we follow. Not imitate, follow. Follow the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya. Follow the footsteps of Maharaj Nimi, King Nimi. And follow the instruction of Saint Prabhupada. And follow the instruction of the Lord of Love. The center of pure loving devotional service. Lord Krsna, the Supreme Person. So that should be the focus. And when we have a bona fide spiritual master, our lives becomes very simple. Just follow instruction. So if we're given this opportunity by our spiritual master, even one sentence, one paragraph, that will be our connection. That will be the lotus feet of our spiritual master. Because that lotus feet is our protection. That is, the teachings is eternal. It's connected with our true transcendental nature, our true transcendental position, and our function. Because false ego means we are here trying to imitate God. Now we enter a world that the shackle, the encumberment, the anchor, this blindness will be gone when we put ourselves in the hands of God, the Supreme Controller. And it's not about salvation. It's not about fear. It's about devotion. So that is the science we've been practicing, engaging in. So the mind now becomes peaceful. Our heart becomes satiated. And we're able to see our true transcendental nature. We're able to see the mind. And our intelligence now becomes clear and purified. We're able to focus now one-pointedly. Although it's very hard, but because we only follow one instruction, one-pointedly, one instruction, God. Not the desire, innumerable desire. So that is the beauty of this path when we come in contact with the representative of Krishna as instructed by Saint Prabhupada, as instructed by Ishvara Puri, the process of the chanting of the holy names. So let's discuss about this tomorrow again. But now, before we part ways, we do Japa Meditation, okay? Japa Meditation, you have beads, all of you? This is a process we do every day. Day out, day in. So, this process is remembering God by the use of Japa beads. So we have this sense of touch, and this is an ancient process that will connect us and make it easier for us to tread this path. Because from that point, as what Lord Chaitanya did, he followed the instruction of his spiritual master Ishvara Puri. All the great Vaishnavas, Mrigari, the saintly person, they should simply follow the instruction of the spiritual master, and they succeeded. Because the instruction of the spiritual master is God's mercy, is God's protection. If we follow the instruction, we're in God's hands. Prior to following the instruction of our spiritual master, we've been traveling so long we cannot remember anymore. In this false ego, we have falsely identified ourselves. Now, we must uncover our true transcendental nature and experience this connection with the source of joy and happiness. So let's do Japa meditation, only half beat. From my personal life and those of my God brothers and God sisters, they came in contact with their initiating spiritual master. And those who are following Srila Prabhupada, they're living the life of a disciple. They chant the holy names through their beads. So this is the process of following the footsteps of the saintly person. And when we connect our heart, our life, our meditation upon doing the will of God by following this process of chanting Harinama, then we are assured by God Himself. The verdict of Scripture, the Upanishad, the activities of the saintly person, Lord Brahma, our Father Spiritual Master. His meditation is about the glories of our, it's all about the glories of God and His care for us. So, for so long, we are not appreciating what is pure love. What is unconditional love? Because it's all about ourselves. We love ourselves, just ourselves and our extended false ego. That is our focus and meditation. So the first effect of chanting this Maha Mantra, one understands his true transcendental nature. He is able to walk this path one-pointedly because he is now guided by God Himself. No more master. The only master, the only friend I follow is God, Lord Krsna. And my spiritual master, whose will is in harmony, synonymous, in parallel with the will of God. And his concern is to connect me so I can connect me with the Supreme Person's love. And his prayer, his blessing is that I make progress. So we're not alone in this path. We have Krishna's devotee, His love, His care, His mercy, His compassion. That's why it's very important that the spiritual master whom we follow must be a pure lover of God. The only person whom we should follow and give our life is God, our spiritual master. And who gives us that vision? God Himself. God Himself arranges it so we come in contact with His representative. And the representative of God, because of His love for the Supreme Person, and He loves us, He wants our well-being, our welfare. It's all about love. In this world, it's all about judging others, about individuals. We look around thinking they are unholy, they are impure, they are sinful. We are looking outside, not with all those dirty impurities upon others. Because we're guided by, we're in this false ego to be the judge, but you are not the judge. So when we become purified, our time, our energy will just be simply focused upon doing what is pleasing, what is the will of the Supreme Person. So let's do Japa meditation for the benefit of the audience also. If you want, you can email us. You want to learn Japa meditation, then you can email us. We can connect you with many disciples and preachers of Lord Chaitanya in your place. We can teach you online how to do Japa meditation, how to chant. We can pass on to you what has been given to us by our Gurudev, that your life becomes sustainable in doing the will of God through association with the spiritual master's teaching. This is Japa beads. This is the head bead. It symbolizes the spiritual master. We chant one round. It's only half bead to make it easier for those who are new in chanting. And when you reach here, don't overlap, go across, but rather turn back. But you can offer respect to the spiritual master, obeisances. So in our path, our spiritual master, in this parampara, he is His Divine Grace, Jagad Guru Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, who is the dearmost disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Someone who is a teacher by example, whose activities connects us, whose life is an example of someone who is loving the Supreme Person. He is the ambassador of the Supreme Person. And he guides us. So we can discuss more about this science so we can be guided. But now let's do Japa meditation. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In one beat, okay? Then when you reach here, don't cross, come back. Me as a disciple, I offer my respectful obeisances to my spiritual master before I chant, because he's the one who is passing on this Maha Mantra to me. So I offer him my humble obeisances with an intent to be in meditation, in appreciating His love and be appreciating His mercy and compassion. Hare means the energy of God. Rama means the pleasure potency of God. Krishna means the all-attractive Supreme Person. So this mantra is very potent. It can purify us from this false ego we are now identifying with. Let's chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radhe Krishna Prastate. So these the Japa beads, and you can use this chant in your, in your daily activities that you do. You can put a certain time to chant the Maha Mantra. And you don't have beads for those audience, you don't have beads. You can just call us, text us, so we can connect you with someone who can provide you with these Japa beads. There's no hard and fast rule in chanting. You can sit down, relax, You can walk chanting, but driving, you should be very careful. Just use hear from the chanting, the melodies, or the japa through MP3 or MP5 or in your stereo, in your car. Because when you chant, you might close your eyes up close, you may meet accident. So these japa beads, we have been given this Maha Mantra by our spiritual master, Jagad Guru Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, who is a teacher by example, the representative of of Saint Prabhupada, and he's passing on this Maha Mantra to us. So you don't need to imagine or speculate or try to ascend. The Supreme Purifier, Krishna himself, will purify us. Just like when your hands are dirty, you need the cleansing agent, water. You know? Don't try to ascend. All we have to do is receive the holy names. Let the holy names take care of everything. Let Krishna take care of everything. Okay? Haribol, namaste. So let's chant before we part ways. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prasthayate
Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prasthayate
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya
Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayana Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayana
Radha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Gaurabhakta Vrinda
Radha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Gaurabhakta Vrinda
Gopala Govinda Rama
Krishna
Madana Mohana
Hari Bol Krishna
Gopala Govinda Rama
Hari Bol Krishna
Madana Mohana
Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana
Gopala Govinda Rama
Hari Bol Krishna
Madana Mohana
Hari Bol Krishna
Gopala Govinda Rama
Hari Bol Krishna
Madana Mohana
Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana
Gopala Govinda Rama
Hari Bol Krishna
Madana Mohana
Hari Bol Krishna
Gopala Govinda
Hari
Rama
Bol Krishna
Madana Mohana
Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana
Gopala Govinda Rama
Hari Bol Krishna
Madana Mohana
Hari Bol Krishna
Gopala Govinda Rama
Hari Bol Krishna
Madana Mohana
Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana
Gopala Govinda Rama
Hari Bol Krishna
Madana Mohana
Hari Bol Krishna
Gopala Govinda
Hari
Rama
Bol Krishna
Madana Mohana
Gopala Govinda Rama
Gurudev.
Hari Bol Krishna.
Jaya Jaya Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Srila
Hari Bol
Prabhupada.
Krishna.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Hari Bol Krishna.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada.
Hari Bol Krishna.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya
Hari Bol
Siddhaswarupananda.
Krishna.
Ananda
Hari
Paramahamsa.
Bol Krishna.
Jaya Jaya
Hari Bol
Siddhaswarupananda.
Krishna.
Ananda Paramahamsa.
Jaya Jaya Srila